Friday morning. It is 8:01 in the morning. Rise and shine. I'm Wesh 2 first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together just about 7 days a week. Sorry about yesterday. Had my thing down at the airport. Went beautifully. So that certainly is good news. The good news is also that we're back and we're doing our thing. Let's talk about the top two things that we are tracking. First off, this morning, Hurricane Beryl made landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula, bringing a pretty decent hit to certain communities there. We'll talk about what's next for the storm system and what else is doing in the tropics. We'll also talk about our weekend forecast and get all the info so that you can make plans for yourself and your family. But before we do any of that, let's just look outside, see how our tower cam network is looking this morning. There's New Smyrna Beach. This place was jammed yesterday. I don't know that I have ever seen things as busy as it was yesterday. And already this morning, people certainly starting to head out that direction, right? Let's head over to Orlando International Airport. Plenty of people coming to town to enjoy our lovely weather, and I certainly can't blame them for that, right? Let's head over to Brevard County, see what's doing at Port Canaveral. I see the Disney cruise ship. I see some haze. And you'll notice on a lot of these different cameras, had a little bit of like a temperature inversion yesterday. And so that allowed for some of the smoke to kind of get trapped here at the surface. There's a look that's Riviera on the right. You got Swan, Dolphin. You got the Skyliner. Nice morning, but again, a little bit of a haze. Looking over to Tavares, same kind of a thing. Let's head up to Ocala, see what's doing there. Same kind of an idea, right? All right, so let's get out to our first warning live Doppler radar. Scanning around and is nice. Hold on, let me click our radar. Check Melbourne, standby. Okay, yeah, we're perfectly quiet. All right, so our radar completely quiet. We're looking good. Visibility is a little lower out near Wildwood and Ocala, where some of that smoke kind of got trapped at the surface, but temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s, not a bad start. Let me load the half screen version because we've got the inset box. Today is going to be a hot day. And as a matter of fact, that's why we're calling for impact weather, basically from noon through 5 p.m. Not necessarily because of the thunderstorms at all, but rather because of the heat. Once again, Central Florida under heat advisories, not including the beaches today, but Central Florida under heat advisories. Why? Because feels like temperatures are going to be on their way up into the triple digits. It's extreme caution kind of weather. So, my friends, we really and truly are going to have to take it easy today. We need to take it easy. If you work outside, please just don't push yourself. This is not. It's like Manolfi and I yesterday were at the office and we were chatting, and it's like I said to him, I did my flight in the morning. It was early, but I still was completely zonked afterward. And he's like, man, I was out just doing some stuff with the pool and I was completely blasted. That's the kind of weather that we have. And so that's why we really need that's extreme caution, right? Once you get into the triple digits, that's where we're at. So again, today we have heat advisories posted for Central Florida. Just please take it easy. The definition, by the way, of a heat advisory is heat index values ranging from about 108 to about 110. Okay. Got them. Flipping thing woke me up this morning. The text message, I get text messages from the National Weather Service, and their beautiful texts woke me up. What time were they issued? Hold on. I'll check. I'm not grumpy at all. Like, finally get to sleep after all of the fireworks friends. It's like, y'all know it's 2 a.m. You don't need to launch those anymore. So they issued it 2:10 a.m. Heat advisory. Yeah, 2:10 a.m., 2:14 a.m., 2:35 a.m. Awesome. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast and look at the feels like temperatures. Already by 9:30, 10 a.m., feeling like the upper 90s, right? 11, 12. I'll be on Wesh 2 News at noon and 4. The new shift has me on noon and 4 on Fridays. So you're stuck with me on Fridays for the noon and 4. When I see you for Wesh 2 News at noon, this is how it's going to feel. 105 in Wedgefield, 104 in Palm Coast, 106 in the Villages. But that's not it. Yeah, there's 3 p.m. 109 in the Villages, 105 in Orlando. A little lower at the area beaches. So, yeah. Hot. Gross. Maybe you go to Typhoon Lagoon to cool down. We love doing that. Feels like temperatures into the hundreds, but at least the water temperatures will be a little bit more comfortable, right? Heading out to the theme parks, though, you need to make sure to take it easy because it's hot. Remember, we had the fireworks yesterday. So the air quality isn't perfect around town. It's under a moderate. So you kind of get this particles in the air with it particularly hot, and it's going to be one of those days. So take it easy again, and I'll put this up just one more time just so that we are all under the same idea here. 104, 106, it's going to be hot. All right? Sound good? We got that covered. Let's take a look at Futurecast, but not in the temperature mode. Let's switch over to the rain mode and get an idea of what we're looking at for rainfall today. Not a big coverage, frankly. It's going to be a day where we'll see some showers and storms, just not a ton. So there's lunchtime bubbling up a few showers over the metro. 1 o'clock, a few showers and storms. That'll help to cool us off. But then notice it all wants to work off toward the west. So my brother Frank, you're going to be a winner today. How many times have people said that? Just kidding, buddy. Highest coverage of rain is going to be out west of the Orlando metro. Frank, I love you, buddy. I you have to beat up on your older brother when you can. If you're the younger brother, I'm the middle. Got to do what I got to do. So anyway, there you go. It's going to be hot. Tracy says we got slammed in Ocala late yesterday afternoon. Yeah, there was a severe thunderstorm. Yeah. All you do is win, 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 no matter what. All right. So, any questions about today's forecast? Hot, gross. We're calling today's heat because of the heat advisories impact weather. Okay, that's why we're kind of changing up the way we do these little impact icons now. We're going to put those on when we think that there's weather that's going to impact you. That's going to stand out a little bit. So, today's impact weather. Yeah. Frank is way cooler than you, clearly. Oh, 100%. Zero question. Frank has always been cooler than me. Will always be cooler than me. Yeah. Gabby's asking, what was the coverage only? Yeah, it's only 30%. It's really our western areas, kind of from the metro off to the west. That's going to be where we get those showers and storms today. All right. Any other questions? Going one. Then we get to talk tropics. All right, questions about the local stuff. Going once. Going twice. 3 times a lady. Just came in when we get some rain for Daytona. It's not going to really be today, man. Hate to be that bearer of bad news, but yeah, we're not really looking at rain opportunities for you. It's all going to be inland from you. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, the 7-day forecast. How could I forget the 7? You're an idiot, Burris. Stand by. Let me pull it up. All right. We'll do the 7-day, and then we'll get to tropics. Sound good? Yes, Murray, we're going to get to the tropics here in just a few seconds. All right, so here's the 7-day forecast. And rain chances pretty low today, pretty low tomorrow, but really starting to climb late this week into the weekend as high pressure starts to kind of break down a little bit, which is a good thing. We need some rain. We need that rain spreading about the cabin. But it's going to be gross. Like 95 today, 96 tomorrow, 95 on Sunday. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah. All right. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything else? No? All right. Let's talk tropics, my friends. Let me do this. Get the computer turned around. All right, tropics. Hurricane Beryl. Let's take a look at it right now. There's the storm. You can see it working ashore. It currently is a Category 2 hurricane, maximum sustained winds at 100 miles an hour. Certainly the presentation of the storm not as textbook powerful as it was just a few days ago. But here's some of the statistics on the landfall. Happened about an hour or so ago. Made landfall near Tulum, Mexico, with maximum sustained winds at 110 miles an hour. So it has weakened from the 7:05 advisory to the 8 a.m. intermediate advisory. Makes sense, right? Spent time over land. It's going to weaken. This is the strongest hurricane to hit the Yucatan Peninsula since, I believe, Delta back in 2020. Okay. I was just there, like, what, a couple weeks ago, and I just remember being amazed at how the trees were up the way that they were, because this area, I feel like, gets hit by hurricanes so often. So anyway, that's the storm system where it is now. Thankfully, it did get weaker, but like last night, it was trying to make a run. It was trying to get even stronger. I mean, this thing just does not want to quit. Forecast from the National Hurricane Center brings it back out over the Gulf of Mexico, perhaps even increases intensity to a hurricane again, and then works over to the Rio Grande. Does it come in around Mexico? Does it come in around Texas? We'll kind of have to wait and see how that plays out. Here's the computer forecast models on the thing. If it wants to get a little stronger, then perhaps it would be more of a like Corpus, like Brownsville, Corpus Christi kind of a thing. But, we'll have to watch kind of that trend by trend by trend. And to that point, we can look at the computer models together. We've got all the computer models here. So that's where we're at there. Let's see. A couple of things about this. I think the Hurricane Center's been doing a fantastic job with their forecasting. Intensity on it, you're asking about intensity. So notice Monday, so Sunday into Monday is the time frame it would be into Texas. So let's look at the intensity models here. Sunday into Monday is the time frame going into Texas. Here's the intensity models. And you kind of have a spread, right? Sunday into Monday, you're basically tropical storm to Cat 2. So Hurricane Center's hedging their bets and they're going Cat 1. I think that's a really good call. They're kind of going right in the middle of the intensity models. Yeah, I think that's a good call. So there's that. All right, let's look at the global models. Well, we looked at, you know what, let's do it this way. We looked at the tropical model plots right there. Let's look at some of the ensembles and compare, because ensembles are different. This is specific tropical plots. Let's look at the GFS ensembles. This is just 51 flavors of the GFS model. Give it a say. When I load the graphic, it has to go buffer the data, so it's going to always be like a little slow. But there you go. So I think that the consensus here is kind of Mexico to Texas. Louisiana's not out of it, but the vast majority of the models are wanting that. Whereas, interestingly enough, on the European is leaning more into a Texas landfall. And then when we put all the ensembles together with the tropical cone, the Hurricane Center may need to nudge that cone a little to the right, but there's all the ensemble plots with the forecast cone. So I think, I like when we look at ensemble plots, I really like the opportunity to see kind of all of these different perspectives on them. Ensembles, 51 flavors of each model, right? Because when I show you the GFS, when I show you the Euro, that's one image, one run, one model. And I really like the opportunity to look at confidence and to really get into things, right? All right, so let's do this. This is our FutureCast in-house model. Doesn't go out terribly far in time, but at least it gives us a good glimpse. So first off, FutureCast is keeping it a hurricane crossing the Yucatan, and as soon as it gets off the shoreline, it starts intensifying it again. Look at that. We're getting back to major hurricane status, or at least we're not going to stay a tropical storm, according to our FutureCast model. Our FutureCast model wants to really get it back up there. And because our FutureCast model is stronger, it's recurving it more, right? So I would say when we talk tropical stuff, hold on, let's exit out of that for a second. When we talk about tropics, the term weaker goes west plays in. If it stays weaker, it's going to want to go more west. If it gets stronger, it's going to dabble into that Coriolis force and try to recurve. So, very clearly, our futurecast model, right? Our futurecast model is saying it's going to be stronger, and thus our futurecast model is wanting to keep it, yeah, is wanting to keep it recurving quicker. So that's our futurecast model. That's the 6Z run. Let's look at the 0Z run. I'm just curious to look at the 0Z run, the run before that, and see. So the 0Z initialized weaker. Okay, but intensified it right back to a hurricane much quicker and recurved it. Yeah, so Futurecast, I will also add, Futurecast likes to rapidly intensify storms. So it's almost like it's it almost has like a bias to that. So we have to keep that in mind with Futurecast. Nothing's perfect. I tell that to my wife all the time whenever I get yelled at. I'm not perfect. All right, GFS model. Let's dial in and see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, GFS is going with a weak slop of crap there. And then like right at the end, the GFS is wanting to bring it up to hurricane intensity as it makes landfall near Corpus Christi. Right? And like low end hurricane, you see some of those browns there, not much. So that's yeah. So the GFS is a much weaker scenario. Yeah. All right. So that's the GFS 6Z. Let's look at the 0Z just for comparison. Okay. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Yeah, same thing. So the GFS is wanting to intensify it like right at landfall there. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the European 6Z's, the most recent run. Aaron says, I like the GFS better. Oh, I do too. It's always interesting to me. You know, modeling is one of those things. And certainly I'm not going to post a ton of it because the storm is not like threatening us. But on storms that threaten us, I try to post model run to model run. And by the way, it's kind of funny. A lot of people in the meteorological world don't like that. Stop posting model run to model run. Shut up. Don't tell me how to do my job. I laugh when, stop. How about this? I'm a meteorologist that's going to share data with people so that they can make decisions. Yeah, but it scares people. It's my job to keep them from getting scared, but it's also my job for arming them with information. So here, we're going to arm you with information. And if I'm scaring you, I'm really sorry. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be fully transparent on data with you. Stop doing. You ought to see these meteorological boards. I swear, half of my industry is just a bunch of pains in the neck. Stop doing that. You're going to scare the public. It's my job to show this stuff, bro. Nobody like added me or anything, at least this year. I just think it's so funny when people are like, ugh. How about you do your job over there and I'll do my job over here? And I'm not talking about anybody in the market. I'm just talking about like these Facebook groups where people are complaining all the time about dumb crap. All right, European, bringing it down in intensity, but keeping it a hurricane across the Yucatan. Definitely disrupted circulation there, but trying to hold its own, and that's as far as the 6Z run goes, because the 6Z is a shorter run. Let's go to the 0Z. Heather says, at least this year, tell the weather bros to chill. Just one person in particular, Florida meteorologist, but not in Central Florida. It's just like, what are you doing? Okay, so the European wants to intensify close to landfall, but earlier than the GFS and more intense. And that would be bringing in Cat 2 hurricane to South Texas. Yeah. Ugh. Hope Starship's ready for it. So at any rate, you've got the various consensus of models showing it wanting to be a hurricane again on landfall. When we look at the percentages for tropical storm force winds, and this is tropical storm force winds, but very clearly South Texas's chances of tropical storm force winds are rising. So if I lived in South Texas, I would at least be preparing for a tropical storm. Could be more, could be less. In terms of advisories, stand by. Got to type this stuff. In terms of advisories down that way, wherever that graphic is, no, no. Why am I? Oh, there it is. In terms of advisories, we don't have anything for South Texas yet, right? We're still a couple of days away. Hurricane warnings in effect from Cancun down through Cozumel, and then tropical storm warnings in effect for the northern shoreline there. So you figure 48 hours is it. So if it's Sunday, so probably by the 11 o'clock advisory, Mexico, south of about the Rio Grande, there probably starts to get some advisories. If not by 5 p.m., we'll start to get advisories for Mexico, and then into South Texas, probably South Texas would be 11 o'clock tonight or 5 a.m. tomorrow, starting to get those. Yeah. Right? The only reason why they say that is because you make them look bad. It's just people have hills to die on, and they're all different, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm totally good with that. But when people go out of their way to just blast other people, like this came up because I opened up Facebook and I saw people blasting other people, and it was like, you all are professional meteorologists. Why don't you just do what your job tells you to do at your station? Each station's different, each company's different, and don't blast other people. Like, seriously. Seriously. And a good case in point, whether or not you know this, my mentor is my competition in this market. Tony Manolfi has been my mentor, but like going back to high school, there was another meteorologist that was my mentor in this market. We are competitors, and we haven't always agreed on everything. But is he going to publicly or even privately blast me? No. We're going to be two mature knuckleheads and just not agree on something. I'm not talking about politics. I just mean in weather, you know? So anyway, it is what it is. It's kind of funny. It's just funny that adults do that stuff. So there's that. I'm going to continue to post model data though when I need to. It is what it is. All right. So that's kind of the forecast thinking. If I lived in the coastal Texas, even Louisiana, I would certainly be watching this closely. It's not a threat to Central Florida, right? We're good here. It will weaken. The question mark is going to be how significant is this working across land, right? Does it become a tropical storm? Does it stay a hurricane? I would think that I would think that it probably weakens to a tropical storm. But once it gets into the Gulf, how quickly does it try to make another stronger run? That's all. Right? So that's kind of where we're at. Chris says it's the world we live in. It's truth. It's truth. All right. Anything else about Beryl? Any other questions about Beryl? Other than Beryl, are the tropics quiet currently? Yeah, for the most part they are. Let me just double check this. Yeah. The tropics are quiet. Stand by. Let me pull this up. All right. So in the open Atlantic, just so that you know, other than Beryl, Invest 96 is done. Nothing else in the open Atlantic. And frankly, we're not really seeing any indicators of stuff after Beryl. So let's do this. Let's look at some raw computer model data. Ba-ba-ba. All right. I'll switch this to the basin view. And you can see Beryl crossing. This is the GFS. So obviously the GFS is bringing it to Texas. You could see on the left side of your screen. But looking out to the open Atlantic, maybe a little wave. Nothing big or organized Rolling through time. This is July 15th, 16th. Decent wave coming off the coast of Africa. Decent wave out near the Cabo Verde Islands, but really nothing else. A couple little like storms off coast of New England there. You see that? But that the GFS is actually quite quiet. Let's look at the European, and we'll just do the ensemble control because it goes out pretty far. And for the sake of argument here, it's fine. Looking, looking, don't see anything. Couple monsoonal waves, some tropical moisture around, but including Florida, but nothing, nothing through about like the 19th, 20th. So that's good. Let's keep things nice and quiet. Love that for us. We knew that we would be entering into a quieter phase, per our long range forecast. Let's see here. When is the next like part of the pattern? I haven't even checked here recently. That's August 18th through the 26th, August 5th. So July 19th through the 25th would be like the next part of the pattern. Have to kind of watch the northern Gulf Coast, July 19th through the 25th. So we'll watch for it, see if anything wants to kind of show up in the Gulf of Mexico, but at least for now, we're pretty nice and quiet, and I'm fine with that. But just know, yeah, right around when school starts, Ash points out, just know in that kind of time frame, we'll start to have to watch things again, right? Yeah. Going on Utopia July 19th, no issues. That's going to be so fun, Barbara. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I think though the big takeaway for me is just heat advisors are posted today. It's going to be a really hot day. It's going to be a really hot day. Chris says Debbie's coming. Yes. To that point, the next name on the list is Debbie. And why am I the only one that updates this dang graphic? Beryl should be switched to a 5. Stand by. I'll fix it. 5. Close. Save. Why? Manolfi's usually pretty good. I say, why am I the only one that updates it? Manolfi's pretty much always. Manolfi and I always try to fight to keep everything updated. So I'm surprised that this one didn't get updated. But there you go. So Beryl, Cat 5. Alberto was a tropical storm. Chris was a tropical storm. Debbie is the next name on the list. Hi, Gavalt. Any questions? Because I'm the graphics guy. But I'm working on new graphics. What did I say that out loud? What? Questions, comments, concerns? Why am I the only one that does? No, I'm not the only one that does anything around here. I'm certainly not. Ash says I'm scared of Debbie. Well, we don't know where Debbie will be yet. We don't know. We know that Debbie Mandarino, pain in the tuchus. Jan, God help us. Working on some new stuff. I don't know. You'll see it at some point. You'll see it at some point soon. I have comments and concerns, but not about the weather. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So there you go. Melanie says, I can't get over how warm the Atlantic is. Oh, for sure. I mean, it led to this storm system being a Cat 5 earlier than any other. Wicked out there. Evelyn says, my boyfriend is supposed to be flying into Texas tomorrow. You think it'll be canceled? I don't think it'll be canceled, but I do think that you'll probably end up dealing with some crummy weather, Evelyn. Well, not you, your boyfriend. And apologies to that. All right, 7-day forecast. Hot, hot, hot next couple of days. Then temperatures come down as the rain chances go up into next week, which is good. Rain chances are always good. Debbie's the hall monitor. Do not mess with her. Right. Yeah. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all? Anything. We good? All right. Everybody's asking for future y'all, I already showed it. I'll do it one more time. I'll do it one more time because like 17 people have asked. And then I'll go do TV. I'll go into the station. All right. Here's Futurecast for today. All right. Through the morning, we're looking good. Couple of bubble ups, 11, 12 o'clock when I see on West 2 News, probably have a little bit of rain to track, right? Then we get into some thunderstorms, 1, 2 o'clock in our kind of Sumter Lake Marion corridor. Taylor says slackers aren't paying attention. Exactly. Or the slackers were late. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then 3 o'clock, the storms kind of move out west. 4, 5 o'clock, look at that. It's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. 6, 7, beautiful. And then for tomorrow, look at that. It's going to be a nice start. I'll see you on sunrise in the morning. And then, wow, Futurecast is going super dry tomorrow. We'll see if that works. Either way, they're slackers, Cindy says. Yep. Lucas, I'll admit it. I was late. That's okay, Lucas. That's okay. I feel fully updated and informed, Jan. But were you entertained? Are you not entertained? The slackers are drinking beer. At this early, if we're drinking beer, this is called coffee talk. Christine, head down. Yes, I was late. It's all right, Christine. You get one pass. One pass per semester. All right, people. That's all I got. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Ash says last night, LOL. I feel ya. I feel ya. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you on West 2 News at noon today with more on this. More on this. Okay. I'll see y'all later. Bye.